My body is a cage that keeps me from dancing with the one I love, but my mind holds the key. Dyslexia and learning disability are just words which make a child feel different from the others, and it did to me. In my earlier school, everything was good when I had to answer orally, but writing was a big problem. As a child, I could not tell which color was which. I can still remember being stuck on the first sentence while the rest of the class had finished 10 sentences. The teachers always lost their temper with me and filled my diary with remarks. One day, a teacher recognized my disability and helped me out. I struggled in middle school. I studied hard and tried my best to just pass a test which everyone aced in and laughed at me. Standing next to me, my mind holds a key.
I have a learning disability called dyslexia.
I have ADHD, that stands for attention deficit hyperactive. I don't know the meaning.
जी मैम, हाँ लिखने में परेशानी होती है.
1 in 10 people have learning disabilities. These people face a lot of problems.
I don't know why they do it. Why can't we just all be friends?
Yeah, when I went home for a weekend, I came back. They burnt my beds with fire and from a matchstick, and which I hated it. And I didn't feel like coming back to the school because
Learning disabilities, if they're really prominent and if it comes to the surface, they're ostracized and people treat them differently.
They were teasing me, like they called me dyslexic and all that stuff.
There are 4 main types of learning disabilities. Dyslexia causes people to have trouble recognizing or processing letters and the sounds associated with them, and this affects their comprehension skills. Dyscalculia is difficulty in learning or comprehending mathematics. Dysgraphia is a deficiency in the ability to write, regardless of the ability to read. ADHD is a problem with inattentiveness, overactivity, impulsivity, or a combination of these. In a class situation, the student may have a problem paying attention. If asked to, they may have problems reproducing the matter taught by the teacher. Students may have trouble with writing and spellings. They may experience difficulty with the concept of time. There may be social awkwardness and trouble with organizational skills.
Most of the teachers are also not aware.
Teachers are not aware. Parents, as other parents you meet, you
Other parents, I don't know, they have got this, it's a taboo,
you think there's some sort of
stigma attached to it, very much.
How do you feel that the Indian education system provides for students with disabilities? Do you think it's enough, or
There are provisions.
Yeah.
There are provisions, and I think they could be enough if they are implemented.
Okay.
The thing is, the court passes the order and no one is looking into whether or not it is being implemented. It's then up to the schools.
Okay.
And the first thing the school tells you is, no, you can't get any concessions.
Okay.
No, the teachers are very busy.
Okay.
Then that will be an added burden. They cannot test him differently or take his oral exams simultaneously. So, the n number of things.
Okay.
So basically,
You're saying it needs to be implemented.
yeah, it has to be implemented.
In the Indian education system, all the boards have recognized. So on paper, it's definitely there that whether it's the central board, whether it's the ICC board or Maharashtra board for sure, definitely has all the concessions for children with learning disabilities. Whether they're actually implemented is a moot point.
Do you In what way do you think that greater transparency can be brought to the system? How can we make sure that these things are implemented so that
I feel that even given any board, when they are giving affiliation to any school, they must be looking into some basic things, right? So even for them, this is not a priority.
Okay.
At least when they are giving an affiliation or something, they should at least look into this. If they are supposed to maintain a separate register for the dyslexic children, where is it?
Absolute fact. I think it's wrong for the psychologists who do that. You do have people who do that. I know people who do that because they want to scribe, who are not dyslexic.
Okay, so I'll just show you what are the different remedial programs we use at MTA. These are all the different programs here which I have displayed. We use the multisensory approach, that is the child or the student. It's not that we only work with children, we also work with adults. So any individual with learning disability, with dyslexia, who feels the need to receive remedial help comes to us, and whatever the age, okay, these are the materials that are used.
Shapes are sequentially passed through a window. The student is made to recollect them in order to teach them the importance of sequence. In this method, the student must pass through the shapes called out by the remedial teacher in sequence. This method is the same as the first but more complex, as the shapes are replaced with letters. This method is similar to the second, but it increases in complexity as the shapes are replaced with letters and the connected letters must spell out a word.
Fish.
Okay. What did you see in the mirror? And so what did you see?
The sound,
That was the sound. The sound you heard was. But what
I
did you
saw
see? How were your
this.
lips? How was your mouth?
like this.
So your teeth, upper teeth were touching
Over
your,
my lip, my lower lip.
and what was happening to the air?
It was being blown out. So, okay.
All the teaching staff we have here are only special educators, because I guess that makes a big difference. When you are a special educator, the whole methodology of teaching is different, and the whole essence of that teaching is differentiated learning. It's not how you teach a child how to learn because they conformed to the way they're meant to learn through an ICSE, SASE, or ICSE or CBSE board. Here we teach them as per their styles, how they best learn. So that's how we differentiate the learning process, and we teach them at their pace.
So what we do is we teach them phonics, right? Because the basic difficulty is with the letter sound association. And it's only because of the way their brain is wired that they are unable to process information on the, especially where the letter sound association is concerned. So because of which you would have problems with spelling. Then because you have problems with spelling, you have problems with reading. Because you have problems with reading, you have problems with maybe comprehension, then composition, and it just becomes a snowballing effect, right? So there are steps. It's all sequential, because when you can spell well, you have reading fluency. When you can read well, you would have more comprehension, because these kids, because they struggle with reading, what happens is when they have to read, they read individual words. And you must have fluency in reading to understand. So instead of saying this is a cat, you would do this is a cat. By the time you get to cat, you don't know, you forget this. So what we teach them is we teach them this processing. Okay. Now it depends on every child, because I may have 10 methods to teach them, but it's on how the child responds to that, right? The severity of his own difficulty, because you would have children who have various difficulties at various levels. You'd have sequencing, you'd have discrimination, your figure-ground relationships. So each of these perceptual processes are obstacles to reading.
These kids who have dyslexia, dysgraphia or dyscalculia don't only need special attention and sensitivity, but they need therapy. They need occupational therapy, they need sensory integration therapy, they need speech and language therapy sometimes when they have speech deficits. They need physiotherapy, they need, all different based therapy needs